Have you ever heard the story of a city made entirely of gold, hidden deep within the Amazon rainforest? A place so rich that its king would cover himself in gold dust every single day. This is the legend of ElDorado, a myth that has captivated explorers and treasure hunters for centuries. But what if I told you that for one man, this wasn't just a myth? For him, it was a tangible, reachable destination, a lost world he called Zed. This is the incredible, and ultimately tragic, story of Colonel Percy Fawcett and his obsessive quest for a lost civilization. The story begins not with Fawcett, but with the Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century. They heard tales from indigenous tribes about a king, the Gilded Man, or ElDorado, who ruled a city of unimaginable wealth. The legend described a ritual where the king would coat his body in gold dust and dive into a sacred lake as an offering to the gods. Naturally, the gold-hungry Spaniards were obsessed. They launched countless expeditions into the treacherous Amazon, searching for this city of gold. They found incredible wealth, yes, but the city itself, the source of it all, remained elusive, a shimmering mirage that always seemed just beyond the next river bend. Over time, ElDorado evolved from a man into the city itself, a mythical metropolis of gold, a South American Atlantis waiting to be rediscovered. For centuries, the story was just that, a story, a campfire tale for adventurers. But then, Percy Fawcett came along. Percy Fawcett was not your typical armchair explorer. He was a distinguished British Army officer, a cartographer, and a man hardened by years of surveying the unforgiving borders between Bolivia, Brazil, and Peru. He was a fellow of the Royal Geographical Society, a man of science and discipline. During his expeditions in the early 20th century, he wasn't just drawing lines on a map. He was living in the jungle, interacting with tribes that had never seen an outsider, and battling diseases, predators, and starvation. It was during these grueling journeys that he started to see things that did unfit the accepted narrative of the Amazon as a primitive, uninhabitable green desert. He found pottery shards of intricate design in areas supposedly untouched by civilization. He heard stories from local tribes about ancient ruins and stone cities hidden deep in the jungle, tales that echoed the legends of ElDorado. Fawcett became convinced that the conventional view of history was wrong. He believed that a highly advanced, sophisticated civilization had once thrived in the Amazon, long before the Incas or the Aztecs, a civilization with knowledge of complex engineering, astronomy, and writing. He wasn't just chasing gold like the conquistadors before him. He was chasing evidence of a lost chapter in human history. His primary piece of evidence was a document he discovered in the National Library of Rio de Janeiro, known as Manuscript 512, written by a Portuguese explorer in 1753. It described the discovery of a vast, ruined stone city in the heart of Brazil. The manuscript detailed wide streets, towering arches, and temples covered in mysterious hieroglyphs. For Fawcett, this was the smoking gun. This was his proof. He believed this ruined city described in the manuscript was what he codenamed Zed, for convenience and to protect its location from rival explorers. He rarely called it ElDorado. To him, Zed was a real, physical place, and he was determined to be the one to find it. He envisioned Zed as a magnificent site, with grand plazas and monumental ruins that could be even older than the pyramids of ancient Egypt. He theorized that this was the parent civilization, the source from which all other great South American cultures, like the Incas, had sprung. This was a radical idea at the time. The academic world largely dismissed him, believing the Amazon's soil was too poor and the environment too harsh to support a large, settled population. But Fawcett was unyielding. He had seen the jungle's secrets with his own eyes. He had touched the evidence. He was not a dreamer. He was a man on a mission, driven by a conviction that bordered on obsession. His belief was so strong that he was willing to risk everything for it. And so, in 1925, at the age of 57, Percy Fawcett prepared for his final, fateful expedition. This was it, the one that would vindicate him and rewrite history. He wasn't going alone. He was accompanied by his eldest son, 21-year-old Jack, and Jack's close friend, Raleigh Rimmel. Fawcett believed he had finally pinpointed the location of Zed, deep in the unexplored territory of the Mato Grosso region in Brazil. The trio was well equipped and experienced. Fawcett himself was a master of jungle survival. They planned to travel light and live off the land, a strategy that had served Fawcett well in the past. Their last known communication was a letter sent from a place called Dead Horse Camp on May 29, 1925. In it, Fawcett was optimistic, writing that they were crossing the upper Xingu River and heading into completely unexplored territory. He assured his wife that she need not fear any failure, and then, silence. Percy Fawcett, his son Jack, and Rolly Rimmel vanished without a trace. They walked into the green expanse of the Amazon and were never seen again. Their disappearance created a global sensation. What happened to them? Did they find the city of Zed and decide to stay? Were they captured by an uncontacted tribe? Or did they simply succumb to the myriad dangers of the jungle disease, starvation, or animal attack? For decades, rescue missions were launched, and countless adventurers tried to follow their trail, many of whom also lost their lives in the attempt. The mystery only deepened Fawcett's legend. He became a mythical figure himself, the ultimate explorer who sacrificed everything for his quest. For many years, Fawcett's theory of a complex Amazonian civilization was considered a romantic fantasy. The consensus remained that the jungle was simply too inhospitable. But then, something remarkable happened. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, with the advent of satellite imagery and advanced archaeological techniques like LiDAR, which can see through the dense forest canopy, we started to see what Fawcett had only glimpsed. Researchers began discovering vast ancient earthworks, causeways, and evidence of large planned settlements scattered throughout the Amazon basin, exactly in the regions Fawcett had explored. These discoveries revealed a network of garden cities that may have supported a population of millions. Archaeologists found evidence of large-scale agriculture, raised fields, and canals, proving that ancient peoples had not just survived in the Amazon, but had actively shaped and managed the landscape to thrive. These discoveries have forced us to completely reevaluate our understanding of pre-Columbian South America. Was this the civilization Fawcett was looking for? While no city of gold has been found, the evidence points to something arguably more incredible, a widespread, sophisticated, and sustainable society that existed for centuries, hidden from the outside world. The people of these cities built complex societies in harmony with the forest, a stark contrast to the destructive methods of later arrivals. It seems Percy Fawcett, the man ridiculed as a dreamer, was largely right. He may have been wrong about the gold and the stone pyramids, but his core belief that a great lost civilization lay hidden in the Amazon has been vindicated by modern science. The city he called Zed may not have been a single location, but a whole network of interconnected towns and villages, a true lost world. The story of Percy Fawcett and ElDorado is more than just a treasure hunt. It's a story about the clash between belief and science, about the limits of human endurance, and the enduring power of mystery. Fawcett's obsession cost him his life, but his legacy is not one of failure. His descriptions, his theories, and his unwavering conviction inspired generations of researchers to look at the Amazon differently. He forced the world to consider that what we see on the surface is not always the whole story, and that great secrets can still lie hidden in the world's last unexplored corners. ElDorado, the city of gold, may forever remain a legend, but the real lost civilization of the Amazon, the one Percy Fawcett gave his life to find, is slowly being revealed, proving that sometimes the most fantastic stories hold a kernel of unbelievable truth. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of the Amazon. What do you think happened to Percy Fawcett? And what other mysteries of the ancient world should we explore next? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And do not forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Thanks for watching.